Welcome back, everybody, to the latest edition of Strictly Biased with yours truly, Will Retherford. I'm sitting here today at Stage 22 inside. First time.
A little cold, but it's still a beautiful day.
First time the weather's not cooperated for us to be outside, but we've got an opportunity to watch an incredible Monday Night Football game that we're super excited about. I'm here today joined by the legend. I'll keep it short. Greg Mengelt. Thank you for joining us, Greg. This is your house, so I guess I should be thanking you for letting me join. But absolutely, I think every podcast that you have is on the Central Indiana Sports Report is been done here in some capacity. So
or headquarters in Jeffersonville.
Yep,
with Susie.
Well, let's not fret any longer, Greg. I've got a lot to say this week. But first, what do you want to know?
How about those freaking Colts?
How about them?
Can't believe it.
They've exceeded all of my expectations, I think, already. And I still have a lot of hope that this team can continue to improve. I think that there's a lot of work that can be done defensively to help.
On our Colts reaction podcast, Will said that the Colts are the best team in the NFL. Yeah. And that it's the best offense you've ever seen defend your positions.
Well, I think that the proof is in the pudding. This team right now, statistically, offensively, has been the best team in the league. I don't think that there's a defense that can slow them down. They've been pitted against three really good defenses in Denver, the Rams, and the Chargers. And the common denominator is they've scored points on all of them. They've scored 28 plus on every single one of those defenses. So I don't know how you can look at them and say, this is not an exceptional offense. They're right now at a historic pace. They've punted 10 times the first 7 games. They're averaging less than 2 punts a game. Has that been done in my lifetime? I really doubt it. Has it been done in your lifetime? I
think there was a time. I think Tom Brady's 2007 with Randy Moss it's equal as far as that goes.
But this is Daniel Jones. This is not Tom Brady. This is not Randy Moss. This is Michael Pittman and Tyler Warren. So they are a 8-headed monster offensively. They have talent everywhere. Yeah, I think that you watch these games, the way that the Colts are beating teams week in and week out, the dominance that they have shown, yeah, they're the best team in the NFL. I don't know how anybody could really argue against that at this moment.
I can try for sure. It's not close to the best roster in the NFL.
For sure. But we're not talking about the best roster. We're talking about
eventually
the best
they're going to come up
team.
Against guys who are as good as they are. We'll see.
I agree. I think that, as I've said,
it's pretty amazing that we're at this point.
And there's a reason that the caveat in all of this has been they're not the best team for the rest of the year. They're the best team right now at this moment, which I think that the cohesion that they have right now offensively, I think that the continuity that they have had really only bringing in another quarterback, drafted Tyler Warren, but the offense is essentially the same as it was last year. Defensively, there's a lot of work to be done.
Drafted Tyler Warren's a big one.
Yeah, it's going to, I think, be the draft that changed the organization. If you want the God honest truth, that's going to take them from mediocrity to another level of NFL franchise, a level that they've been at for.
Think about it. Every great tight end was on a winning team. It's like the most common denominator except for quarterback.
It absolutely is. So I don't know why this is an exception. The Colts deserve the respect of the national media. They deserve the opportunity to be talked about because they've beaten teams that were supposed to be elite NFL teams. And so that's
Shane Steichen. What a job he's done.
It's been exceptional. I think as a play caller, he's grown even more. I think that Daniel Jones is the perfect quarterback for his offense. I don't know what you could say right now to tell Colts fans that Daniel Jones probably shouldn't be offered a contract extension. I know it sounds crazy.
I told you, Will, this was going to happen.
I know it sounds crazy, and I know that there's a lot of good teams coming up, and you want to see how he performs against those teams. I
told you this was going to happen.
Well,
this was the exact thing I told you was going to happen coming into the season, didn't I?
And right now, my question to you would be, based on what you've seen the first 7 weeks, would you not want it to happen?
I think at this point, it's probably the right move to make.
Is there anybody in the next?
I just don't think he's a championship quarterback. But you know what? There aren't a lot of those, and he's pretty darn good.
Nobody thought Baker Mayfield was a championship-level quarterback. Nobody thought that Sam Darnold
but you could see it with Baker Mayfield. You can see it with Sam Darnold. I'm not sure Jones has he's been awfully good. Let's just leave it there.
Okay.
I think I'm a lot closer than I ever imagined I could be through 7 weeks. Let's just say it that.
All right.
I'm astounded. I thought that they might be pretty good. I thought their roster says they could be pretty good.
Yeah.
I can't believe that offense is. It kind of reminds me of the 1999 Rams with Kurt Warner, where it just came from out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel Jones doesn't have the same backstory as Kurt Warner, but it's a new guy in a new situation.
Absolutely. I think that you look at his story, kind of the way he was written off with the Giants, the way that he went to the Vikings, it was essentially a practice squad, scout team quarterback. The way we talked about him earlier in the year, it's not like either one of us were singing his praises saying that this was going to be what transformed this organization to the level it's at now. I think that we both agreed that the Colts were probably at a higher floor with Daniel Jones, but the floor is been raised tenfold compared to what I think it was at the beginning of the year.
No, we think so. We said we were certain that if you want a better record this year, if your goal is to make the playoffs this year, Daniel Jones is probably your guy.
Yep.
I want a quarterback that I know year after year after year is going to be solid. I want one of those guys, and I just don't think Daniel Jones is one of those guys.
Well, I think that we want to see how the last 11 weeks go. There's still a lot of season left. A lot could turn.
He's definitely changing my mind.
Carson Wentz looked like a franchise quarterback when they traded for him the first 14 weeks of that season, and then the last 3 weeks he crumbled, and he was getting traded for pennies on the dollar. So there's a lot of time for Daniel Jones' taste in our mouth to sour, but I just don't see it with this offense. I think he's the perfect fit for Steichen.
Hey, Will, who are the winners and the losers of the week? Hey, Will, who are the winners and the losers of the week?
Once again, we're here with 5 winners, 5 losers, just a way to recap what we think are the biggest storylines in the negative and positive direction in Week 7 of the NFL action. So we'll get off starting how we have pretty much every week with our 5th biggest loser, and that is going to go to Washington. They got boat raced in Dallas bad. Losing Daniels to a hamstring injury, they're not able to effectively get the run game going in games that they really kind of needed, especially on a fast track in Dallas.
They're old, and their roster every single week is going to be week to week.
I agree.
That's what happens when you have the oldest roster.
Absolutely. They can't get...
They didn't think it through in the offseason.
No, they cannot get McLaurin back on the field for whatever reason. That injury is lingering. They've been just inconsistent week in, week out, kind of like you said, and I think it has to do largely with their roster. On top of that, if Daniels misses any significant time, I think they're in a lot of trouble. I think Mariota's a capable backup in that offense, but it's not like he's not winning you a playoff game.
is magic, man.
Yes.
He plays quarterback like a magician. It's different than anything in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's why I say every week they're week to week. Mm-hmm. They're going to beat some really good teams, and they're going to lose to some bad teams.
Without question. They gave the game away last week against Chicago at home. They stack a loss on top of that. I believe it is now gut check time for Dan Quinn and this organization as far as where do they want their season to go. I think this week is a big pivotal turning point where we see them either rise to the occasion or falter, and we're talking about a top 12 pick.
Dan Quinn is also probably part of the formula.
I think so. Number 4, this might surprise you a little bit, but I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a big loser this week. I say that because they had the chance to essentially put the division away in Week 7. If you're able to beat the Bengals there, I think you take a 3-game lead up on everybody.
Joe Flacco and the Bengals. They couldn't stop Joe Flacco and the Bengals.
I do remember one guy last week who said that I was crazy for thinking that Joe Flacco still had it in that arm. He was proven right. 31 out of 47 attempts for 342 and 3 touchdowns. Chase Brown had over 100 yards for the first time. Jamar Chase went for 16 receptions, a franchise record, 161 receiving yards and a touchdown.
And you said it would be that easy, and I was like, it's not going to be that easy. And you were like, all he's got to do is throw it up to Jamar Chase, and guess what?
Yeah.
All he's got to do is throw it up to Jamar Chase.
On top of that, the Joker to Batman, T. Higgins went for 6 receptions, 96 yards and a touchdown.
They were great.
The Steelers just couldn't put this game away in any capacity. Their defense really had no answer for Joe Flacco. I don't know what voodoo magic he has over Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, I think, doesn't want to see Joe Flacco ever again in his entire life the way he talks about him in the media. It's strange, but the Steelers gave the Bengals life, and now we'll see if the Bengals can take that lifeline and turn with it.
No.
Number 3, the fact that we are wasting time talking about this team is baffling to me, but they deserve to be on this list, and that's the Las Vegas Raiders. Pete Carroll said at the beginning of this year when he was hired that he does not win less than 10 games. Well, Pete, that's going to happen this year.
Oh, they're horrible.
Geno looks bad. 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Ashton Genty's been being wasted. 62 yards per game. Only one game.
You know, Mike Hutzel said that Ashton Genty is a luxury pick for a team that's a contender in the bottom half of the first round. He's a nice player, but man, they have so many holes.
Yeah.
I don't think running back was the right choice for them.
I tend to agree with that. They thought differently, but boy, they were wrong, without question. They've only allowed Genty to get one game above 100 rushing yards. He had, I think, over 140, went for 3 touchdowns against the Bears, but outside of that, it's been really ugly.
To be fair, he's being used a lot in the passing game.
Absolutely. I think that's something to consider, but their offensive line just cannot protect for him to get any yards.
Man, is it great having a great offensive line like the Colts do?
Oh, my God.
Man, they are so good.
They're only scoring 14 points per game. Their defense is middle of the pack, pretty much in everything. They're 11th in total yards allowed per game, but their defense is on the field all the time because they just cannot get anything going offensively. I'm wondering, and my question to you is it Kenny Pickett time?
No, but...
My next question, can you trust Tom Brady as the operating owner in reality of this team? He had a lot to do with this roster and this coaching hire and this draft and all of that.
I don't think one mistake, and it looks like a pretty big mistake with Geno Smith, especially paying him all that money. But you got to go with him.
Okay.
I don't think it's time for Pickett yet.
Okay.
Geno Smith's shown that he's had some bad games and then come back and been a pretty good quarterback.
Okay.
But this is pretty bad right now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And Pete Carroll doesn't look like he's the same Pete Carroll.
No, I agree. Number 2, they had an argument for number 1, Jacksonville Jaguars. What the hell happened? I feel like I'm going to try to tell this story.
The Rams are good. But...
They are. I'm going to try to tell this story, okay, for the season. This isn't just a Week 7 loss in London. They have 21 drops, which is the most in the league. Their number 1 receiver has 6 of those drops, which is most in the league. He has more drops by himself than other teams.
Yep.
Big
ones, too.
They average 9.3 penalties per game, which is most in the league. They have the second most penalties overall. They were 13 penalties for 119 yards Sunday, so they essentially gave the Rams a touchdown and then some in penalty yards. They have given up 20 sacks, 14 in the last 2 weeks. Their kicker has missed 7 kicks on the year. Lawrence has been underwhelming. This is a stat line for the last 3 games. Tell me how this is. 775 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 turnover. Defense, no turnovers in the last 2 games after, I believe, having 13 in the first 4 weeks. Are you worried about them?
Yeah, this week they looked absolutely awful. They could lose to anybody right now. Yes. I still think they're the second best team in the division. I'm not sure they're a playoff team anymore.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I picked them as my division winner. That was obviously before I knew the Colts were going to be what they were.
That thing's over.
Yeah.
An injury changes everything, but
the only
team that's currently constructed.
The only thing that I think could potentially let Jacksonville sneak back in is they have not played the Colts at all. The Colts still have to play 5 division games. They have a tough back into the schedule. I don't know. I think that what Liam Cohen has done as far as the transformation, they've already matched last year's win total, but boy, something's not right with that passing game. I've never seen receivers that just refuse to catch the ball over the middle. And you see it in that Sunday morning game. They just drop passes in the most, I want to say, high leverage situations. Like, hey, we need one on 3rd and 5, and we're just going to drop it.
They lost a game to the Bengals earlier this year, one of their 2 early losses, because they dropped 2 touchdown.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I like that it's happening in this Colts division because their falter, I think, pretty much
not mind watching that Sunday morning.
Puts the Colts, I think, in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny now, which they didn't 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
You're right. That was a good development. I said in a text chain, win or lose, the Colts are come out of this day a winner with this Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
Not just that they lost to the Rams, but the way they were.
Yeah,
I mean, they just
agree.
were manhandled by the Rams, and the Colts just were not.
Yeah,
the Colts made a lot of mistakes, or they beat the Rams.
I think it's interesting you saw the Jags get in Rams territory with the opportunity to score 7 times. They walk away with 7 points. I do think that there is an error in the fact that when a team gets down 21-0 early because your defense looks like Swiss cheese, you can't kick field goals. But like if they're able to just keep it to 14-0, the Jaguars could have kicked enough field goals to make it a game. And they just quite frankly, they had no choice but to continue to go for it on 4th down. They couldn't convert.
Right.
I don't know. They play the Raiders after a bye. That could be a get back game to get back on track. But as it currently constructed, I've never felt more confident in 7 weeks the Colts can run away with this division before October is over.
Agreed.
Biggest loser this week, and I think that everybody knows probably who it's going to be, and that's the New York Giants. They're the first team in over 1,600 games to have a lead of 18 points with less than 6 minutes left and lose. They go man coverage on the first play of the final possession. They only rush 3 without Abdul Carter or Dexter Lawrence, their 2 best pass rushers, before Bo Nix finds Marvin Mims for a 29-yard reception that essentially put him in field goal range there, at least to try to win the game. Following that, Nix finds Cortland Sutton to put him within 40 yards of a field goal. Dart through a brutal interception, but my question to you is, why are they throwing there? I believe it's on Brian Daboll to protect the lead for the team and his quarterback from making an error like that. It's an unacceptable loss. 2 missed extra points for their international kicker. I think it begs the question, do you see that international kicker spot on the practice squad get used as much, or do you find somewhere else to go? Because that did not benefit them. But my question, as I stated earlier, is why are they throwing in that situation?
I don't know. I want to give you my takeaway. I don't think the Giants belong on this list for 2 reasons. Number one, I think the big takeaway from the day is they definitely have themselves a quarterback.
For sure.
So that coming out of that day, they're a winner. Also, their defensive line is really, really good and was a reason that they were ahead and then just wore down. And they got to get better at that. They got to get more endurance with those guys. I think they got themselves a pretty good team.
You just can't lose a game when you're up.
Lose a game like that
when you're up 18 points with less than 6 minutes.
I'm just saying, in the long run,
for sure.
I took the Giants from a team that I didn't take seriously to a team I now take a little bit seriously.
They beat the Eagles. They almost go into Denver and beat them. Win 2 games on the road there. I don't know. To me,
Dart looks like a veteran.
Yeah, he does. To me, it's too big of a loss. It's unacceptable, and I think it derails their season. All right, here we are now to our winners. The, I guess, 5th biggest winner of the week. You'll probably get a little humor in this. The Carolina Panthers. All of a sudden, they're 4-3. Are they taking advantage of beating bad teams?
They are. And they're in a bad division, and they can beat every one of those teams. It's possible they're the second best team.
Can they control their own schedule? No, they cannot.
No, they can't.
Is what they're doing right now sustainable?
Probably not.
Absolutely not. This is the answer to that question. But they will probably never have the opportunity to be on this list again this season, so I felt like throw them in there.
Yep, and they're going to win a lot of games at home.
Yep.
It might be enough to get in the playoff.
We'll see.
I don't think so. I'm just saying it might be.
The Bryce Young ankle injury is concerning in terms of continued development with Ted McMillan. That's a connection that's been starting to really prosper, and you feel like it gained some traction. Obviously, they've had Dowdle, Hubbard, Jonathan Brooks has been down, but they've got a good running back room. Their defense is stingy. Definitely top 15 defense in this league. I think that is their only opportunity to potentially sneak in at a 9-8 into that NFC playoffs. But
agreed, they're not good.
I just want to finish off this little subtopic of them by saying let's celebrate them today, because they don't get too many opportunities to get celebrated.
That's right. Throughout their history.
No. Number 4, the San Francisco 49ers might just be good.
They might be good.
Why does this happen? How do they do it?
Good coaching.
Injuries galore, and Purdy has only played 2 games this season.
Maybe a good thing.
I believe it starts with 2 guys. The first guy is Mac Jones. Is he the perfect quarterback for this Shanahan offense? I think he might be.
I wouldn't use Mac Jones and perfect quarterback in the same sentence, but he does seem to be an upgrade over Purdy.
He makes
talent-wise, no doubt.
He makes accurate throws, and he does it in rhythm. He hits his back foot, and he rips the ball. And I think that Purdy sometimes gets a little too...
Shanahan knows. He's going to know which guy's the right guy.
I think he is. In every game Purdy misses, I think Mac Jones continues to cement. He didn't even throw for a touchdown this game. It's not like he played lights out, but I just think that he commands this team in a way that I didn't see with Brock Purdy. I don't think that Mac Jones is ever really flustered. He just seems to be the same guy.
I wouldn't be surprised that if at some point he reinserts Purdy and gives him another shot to win it back. But I believe he'll probably discover in the end Mac's the guy.
Yeah. Well, the second guy we haven't gotten the opportunity to talk about, and I wanted to leave him for last, is Christian McCaffrey, who will set the record for running back receiving yards in a season. He had his first 100-yard rushing game since 2023. This Sunday night. Somehow he still has 981 total yards. Why is that? Because he is the 49ers' leading receiver with 581 receiving yards. Yeah,
special.
You heard it correctly. He makes the game look so easy when he's healthy. He's a number 1 receiver who plays running back, in my opinion. Watch out. The NFC West officially has 3 wagons in that division.
The thing with McCaffrey has always been, and I was starting to think maybe he wouldn't be anymore, but I was wrong, is that he is whatever kind of running back you need him to be.
Mm-hmm.
He can get you 2 yards. He can get you a big gain. He can be a receiver. Almost nothing he can't do.
No, I agree with
that. That's what
completely.
sets him apart from the others, I believe.
Number 3, should be no surprise, Kansas City Chiefs are back.
I think so.
Mahomes,
I'm not convinced, but
Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league once again. He's put his team on the back and carried them to 4 victories.
I hate the Chiefs.
I hate him too, but
it was kind of nice to see Patrick Mahomes look like Patrick Mahomes on Sunday.
It just feels fitting. I don't know. Rasheed,
it was gone for over a year.
Yep, he was. He
just was not the same.
He looks different, though. Rice, 2 touchdowns in his return. Worthy might be the best gadget player in the league in terms of his speed and agility. Their defense and special teams are top 8 in the league. They're probably closer to top 5 with Tobin Spagnuolo, who will both, I think, be in the Hall of Fame as assistant coaches. I think they're that good. The defensive coordinator and special teams coordinator. Just when you think the Chiefs are over, they somehow figured out. This is Mahomes' stats this year. 2,050 total yards, 16 total touchdowns, 2 turnovers.
That's the key. He's just so good at that.
Yep.
He's such a great player.
They're probably going to the AFC Championship once again. So I'm glad that they were in
your horses.
I'm glad they were in my playoff picture.
Pull back on the reins a little, Will. I'm not convinced yet. It's been against pretty bad teams. We'll see.
Speaking of reins and horses, we have the last 2 winners both fit that mold. Number 2, the Indianapolis Colts, best offense in the league. We've already talked about it. Historic pace. Jonathan Taylor, Triple Crown rushing watch, 697 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns, averaging 5.3 yards per carry.
Once again, I think you need to say Jonathan Taylor and the offensive line when you bring up those stats because it was cemented this week, Will.
Sure.
Both touchdowns, he's 20 yards downfield before anybody touches him.
Yeah, and I will agree with that, but he's still the one.
Yes,
there's a reason DJ Giddens and then they're doing the same thing.
Correct. You are very correct about that.
Yep.
He is a special back.
Daniel Jones, 1,700 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Tyler Warren is second to only Emeka Egbuka for rookie receiving yards with 439 yards and 4 total touchdowns. The Colts offensive line is the best in the league. Here's an interesting fact for you. Daniel Jones' QBR when under pressure this season is 98.
It's been insane how good he is.
Which would set a record. The next closest is 83.5 Josh Allen's 2024 total.
Speechless.
15 points better. I get it's week 7, but boy, that is something crazy.
But it's week 7, Will. It's not like it's week 3.
Colts defense is beat up, but they have boat raced everybody in their sight.
Yeah, and you could say last week maybe that the schedule hasn't been very good. But you can't say that now. 3 of their 6 teams are teams you consider
elite teams.
At least threats to make the conference championship.
I think all 3 of the teams, in terms of the Rams, the Broncos, and the Chargers, would all have been considered playoff teams with chances to compete for the championship, like you said. So you've played half your games against good teams.
Yes, correct.
You beat a Cardinals team that I think lost by their 5 games by a combined score of like 14 points. 16
and that was their
points.
Worst performance of the season as well, and they still ended up winning that game. That's what I've liked about it.
The Dolphins, Titans, and Raiders are bad. Guess what? You're supposed to beat bad teams badly, and they've done that up to this point. I'm going to take it when you've played half of your games against really good opponents that you are legit a good football team.
Just like everybody else's schedule, but nobody else is 6-1.
Couldn't agree more. Number 1, and I know you're going to love this one. The Denver Broncos are the biggest winner of the week for what they were able to do. Simply put, Bo Nix, guy's a winner. You know, he scored 33 points.
You're telling me the team that didn't score any points through 3 quarters is your biggest winner?
Yeah, because they won the game.
Through 3 quarters, I was thinking this was the worst team in the NFL.
Until they put 33
at home
on you.
Against a not very good team.
Sure, I'm not saying that they look good the first 3 quarters. I'm not, but that
Bo
team
Nix looked like ass
until it mattered, and then he didn't anymore.
Until the Giants' front line wore down.
If Mahomes or Josh Allen or Herbert or Lamar did this exact same situation, everybody would be on TV Monday morning saying, "Look at what those quarterbacks did." So why is he the exception of the conversation?
Because he was so bad for 3 quarters. He was the reason, one of the reasons they were down 26-0 or whatever.
They figured the Giants out when they needed to the most. They have a 5-2 record. Their both losses are on last-second field goals. Not only that, a loss against the Indianapolis Colts that if it weren't for the leverage penalty, which I have not seen called any other time this whole year, they would be 6-1.
They're good. But yesterday showed that they're not that good.
Their defense is elite still the second best defense in the league.
Only if you think Jackson Dart's elite.
You seem to think he's awfully good.
He's good.
Looks like a veteran player. And so I knew that you were going to come at me with the Bo Nix slander. So I did some spelunking. I'm going to pull up some stats.
Spelunk away, my man.
All right. So here's Bo Nix stats through his first 24 games. All right. 59-33. So that'd be 5,933 yards. 47 total touchdowns, 19 turnovers. Okay. Here is a player to be named later. 5,728 total yards, 36 total touchdowns, 31 total turnovers. Why don't you take a guess on who that player is?
Stats are stats, man. I've seen them both play.
Sure, but that's Josh Allen as the second stat. So Bo Nix has 11 more touchdowns and 12 less turnovers while having more total.
Horrible when he first started. When Josh Allen was drafted, the Broncos have been pretty good since he.
Who's Bo Nix thrown to? He said Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
What, Adam Troutman is some elite tight end all of a sudden? Marvin Mims, he's a gadget player. He's a returner.
He looked like he wished he was Bryce Young yesterday for 3 quarters.
Devon Vele, that was his number 2 receiver last year. Where's he at now? He's got shipped for a 6th-round pick to New Orleans. Troy Franklin's still not really flash. You could make the argument, absolutely, that Bo has been put in a better situation. Now, mind you, we talk about situation. Their records through 24 games are identical, both 15-9.
Wow.
So they have the same record. Look at Bo Nix's stats.
You make a convincing argument. I'm still not convinced.
Okay. I can only lead you to the water. I cannot make you drink. And so that's going to have to be, but one day you'll wake up.
He can.
He can't.
He can lead me there, or he cannot, and I have a feeling he will not. I have a feeling 2 years from now, I'm going to be sitting here saying, remember when Will thought Bo Nix was an elite quarterback?
I think it's going to be the other way around, but that's my personal opinion.
Well, I like your list. I'm surprised the Chargers aren't on the losers because to me, if they're a good team, they win that game.
I think that game is more indicative of just how good the Colts are, not how bad the Chargers are. I think Herbert didn't play well in the first half.
Because he never had time to throw. His offensive line's horrible.
Sure. He didn't.
It's part of it.
He didn't play very well, and they dug themselves a hole too deep. I don't know. We could have the conversation of the Chargers went. I think the Colts went and won that football game. I think they just took it to them. Sure, a great team does win that game, but the Chargers are probably a good team.
I no longer think of them as anywhere near a Super Bowl contender.
I think if their offensive line's healthy, they have the talent to be that level, but I mean, we could come back in 6 weeks and say, man, the Chargers, look at how they turned around. Khalil Mack comes back healthy. That offensive line gets a little healthier. All of a sudden, we get our running backs. I mean, they still had Kamani Vidal and Hassan Haskins as their two running backs. I mean, granted, they got down so big early that it didn't matter, but I don't know. I just have a hard time because I feel the Colts are that good. It's hard for them to be one of the biggest losers.
And well, who are the 5 teams most likely to win Super Bowl 60 in the play?
Greg, the list has changed a lot. I think we've learned more about the NFL teams. I think this week might be my favorite list I've come out with so far. I think you'll like it a lot too, actually. My number 5 is the Rams. They looked legit. I think that if that team is healthy, Puka Nacua didn't even play in that game in London. If he's healthy, that team's really hard to beat offensively. Matthew Stafford shows no sign of aging. Their defensive line is incredible. They just have all the talent.
They would also be in my top 5.
Okay. Number 4, the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that you might think it's a week too early. I think that the last 2 weeks they've looked really, really good. Even that game that they lost in Jacksonville, the offense was really, for the most part, unstoppable, aside from a pick 6 that Mahomes threw. I would rather be a week early than a week late, so give me the Chiefs. Number 3, the Indianapolis Colts. I think if this defense shores it up, their offense can run and gun with anybody. I see no signs of this offense slowing down. I think that because they're so efficient on first and second down, it's just going to be really hard for teams to keep up with the track meet that is their team, especially when you have to defend 5 different guys that can all go and have a huge game for your team. I think that they are a Swiss Army knife that a lot of teams just don't have. My number 2, the Buffalo Bills. They're back on my list. Maybe it was just the idea that they didn't play and that I'm blinded by the bye week, but you've been super high on them.
Last week was pretty. I think you taking them out of your top 5 all together was a little rash.
It was probably a little reactionary.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think they're back at 2 because that division is, well, it's awfully close right now, and they're not winning, and
we'll see.
I hate to high horse, but boy, I think I saw what the Patriots had going.
Yeah, we'll see about that. The Bills, though, are still my number 1.
Okay. My number 1 is the Buccaneers. Regardless of what happens this Monday Night Football game, I think that when they're healthy, as far as what they're able to do with their receivers, is running 5 deep, really elite receivers. Jalen McMillan's a 2 on pretty much every other team. He's their 4 who is out with a neck injury right now. They have 2 great running backs. Their defensive line's efficient. Baker Mayfield can go win you a ball game.
Their defense is old but smart.
Yep.
There's nothing not to like about the Buccaneers. I'd probably have them number 2.
I will say, just for housekeeping, the Eagles were 6. They were the first team out. I think that's probably where they belong.
And the Ravens?
I'm out.
You're out?
I'm really out on them. I think so. I've
been thinking about it. Like, if Lamar Jackson, they can get healthy, Lamar Jackson, it's an easy division, might be an easiest schedule. It probably takes 8 losses, at least 7 to eliminate them, and that gives them a little cushion, and that team's awfully good when they're healthy.
I get it. I'm convinced.
No one wants to win that division.
I'm just convinced that it's just not their year. So we'll see. We'll see. Only time will be able to tell with that.
They're definitely not going to be at home in the playoffs.
I think they've just dug themselves just too deep of a hole. I really do. It's what, 1-5. The Colts did it once. Has it ever happened outside of that? I don't know. The odds are really not in their favor. And while it may be a winnable division, a tough division to play. Nobody ever goes 5-1 in that division. It's 4-2, 3-3. They beat up on each other big time. I don't know. The Steelers that know how to defend Lamar. I think 2 losses, 2 more, and it's pretty much over. I think that
no margin for error for sure.
0 margin for error. You can't get got on any evening.
But Lamar Jackson is so good.
He is so good. But is he going to come back and be healthy?
That's the question.
I feel like this is one of those where they have a down year, they get a good draft pick, and that offense comes back rearing up, ready to go next year.
And Will, we will hear from you later this week. We're working on a new project for you, and looking forward to that. But thank you so much for your time. Final thoughts on Week 7.
The Lions, Bucks, and Seahawks all have an opportunity to have been on the list if I would have watched the game and seen them play before the list had to come out. So,
by the way, we're recording as the second quarter is just underway.
So there's a lot of time left. Those are 3 really good football teams that deserve consideration, but it is recency bias and it is strictly bias. Go ahead, drop a listen wherever you can.
Thanks so much, Will, and thank you everybody for listening. Please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with a sports fan in your life and help us spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about sports every single day. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.